Hey, Health Haven community. Ever wonder about those headlines popping up about bird flu? Yeah, it sounds a bit like something out of a movie, right? But it's actually a real thing, and it's something we should all be a little bit aware of, especially with everything going on in the world. Think about your morning walk in the park, or maybe even just seeing birds in your backyard. It's closer to home than you might realize. So, what exactly is bird flu? Well, in simple terms, it's a type of influenza that primarily affects birds. Wild birds like ducks and geese can carry it naturally, and sometimes it can spread to domestic poultry like chickens and turkeys. The big concern and why it's making news is when these viruses start to jump species. Scientists are keeping a close eye on these viruses because, sometimes they can change and potentially pose a risk to humans. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but how does this affect me? That's a fair question. For most of us in our day-to-day lives in the US, UK, and Canada, the risk of catching bird flu is actually quite low. You're not likely to catch it from just seeing birds fly around. The main way humans could potentially get bird flu is through very close contact with infected birds, like in poultry farming. Think of it like this. If you're a chicken farmer, you're closer to the barn, so to speak. For the average person, it's more like being in the next town over from the barn. However, low risk doesn't mean no risk, right? And that's why it's good to be informed. One of the most practical things we can do is to be mindful around wild birds and avoid contact with sick or dead birds. If you happen to find a dead bird, especially multiple ones in the same area, it's best to contact your local wildlife authorities or animal health agencies. They're the experts and can handle it safely. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Another important point is food safety. Good news here, properly cooking poultry and eggs kills bird flu viruses. So you don't need to stop enjoying your Sunday roast chicken or your morning scrambled eggs. Just make sure you're cooking them thoroughly, just like you normally would. Think of cooking as the ultimate hand sanitizer for your food. And, good old hygiene practices are always relevant. Regular hand washing with soap and water is a simple but super effective way to protect yourself from all sorts of germs, including flu viruses. It's like your personal force field against unseen nasties, especially if you've been outdoors or in contact with animals. Just wash your hands. It's a habit that pays off in so many ways. Now, here's something a bit broader to think about. Bird flu outbreaks in poultry can affect food prices and availability. When outbreaks happen on farms, sometimes many birds have to be culled to prevent the spread, and that can impact the supply chain. So, keeping an eye on these situations is not just about health, it's also connected to our economy and how we get our food. Also, scientists are constantly studying these viruses. It's like a biological detective story. They're trying to understand how these viruses change and what risks they might pose in the future. This research is crucial for developing better ways to monitor, prevent, and respond to outbreaks, both in birds and potentially in humans. It's a global effort, with experts around the world working together. So there you have it, a quick overview of the bird flu situation. It's something to be aware of, but not to panic about. Stay informed, practice good hygiene, and, keep enjoying the birds from a safe distance. We're all in this Health Haven community together, so let's keep each other updated and share any useful tips in the comments below. If you have specific health concerns, always best to chat with your healthcare provider. They're your personal guides in these matters. Stay healthy, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.